Hi, everybody. This is your announcement for History 202, and this is for the week of March 30th. So we are coming off of our long spring break, and I hope that all of you have been healthy and safe through all of this. It seems very unprecedented for all of us, but I have to tell you, and maybe if you've been keeping up with the news, there has been a global pandemic in the past that the United States felt acutely, and that was the influenza pandemic back in 1918, a little over 100 years ago. So, and millions of people died in that pandemic. And they didn't know, I don't think, to take the measures that we have taken in the United States and around the world. So anyway, it's a very interesting time. So I'm talking to you from home, as you can see. This is my dining room. So this is where I'll be doing my announcements from this point forward. Okay, so, this has been an online class, so we will continue. There are some adjustments in due dates that I had to make, and I sent you an email about that. I still would like you to reply to that email if you haven't done so already. So with that, let's go ahead and get started. Let me show you what's happening for this week. Okay, so we are past all this. We are in Module 4. Okay, this is where we left off. So what we're going to do is Module 4.1. There's a couple things going on in Module 4.1. First, you do have a self-check quiz, which I have moved the due date of that to March 31st. Okay, so there is no discussion there. But you do have a paper that you'll need to work on. And the due date of the paper is April 7th. Okay, so you have a little more than a week to complete this paper. So I want to go over the instructions for that paper. But first, before I do that, let's just take a look at our overview. So where we are at is World War II, and the paper is actually going to address the end of World War II. So this is an interesting chart that actually shows the number of deaths, the true cost of war. So take a look at that. It also has the financial cost as well, which is kind of interesting to look at. Okay, so our objectives are that, and there is no class discussion, so I guess I should probably take that out, but identify key figures and basic events of the U.S. involvement in World War II in a quiz, formulate and evaluate arguments for and against using the atomic bomb on Japan to end World War II in a mini paper. Okay, so that's the paper assignment. So you're going to read chapters 34 and 35. You're going to complete the self-check quiz. You're going to read, there are documents, primary source documents that go along with this assignment. Like I said, there's no discussion, so don't worry about that. And then you're going to complete the Module 4.1 mini paper. Okay, so let's go on to, I think the next thing is your quiz. Okay, so there's your self-check quiz. Okay, so this is the introduction to the instructions for your paper, and I have several pages of instructions. Okay, so in order to do this paper, you're going to read chapter 35 in the Brief American Pageant in our book. Okay, so these are the sources that I want you to use. And there are primary source documents, a set of documents that I will show you that are also you're required to incorporate these into your paper. And then I've also provided kind of an overview website called Milestones, which gives you some more background information about this time period. Okay, so what I would like you to do is to use all of these sources to help you to formulate your arguments in your paper. Okay, so this is the set of primary documents that I would like you to read. So this is just an introduction. Okay, there's President Truman. He was the president. Franklin Roosevelt died in 1945, and then President Truman, well, he was vice president, became president after Roosevelt's death. Okay, so these are the actual primary source documents that you are to read. Okay, so these are really interesting because these are the actual documents that they're memorandum. They're, they'd be emails today of all of the advisors that were around at that time, and they're all talking to President Truman about the atomic bomb. And that's what this paper is about, because the dilemma was for the United States how to end World War II in the Pacific, the war against the Japanese Empire. And so one of the things that became available was the atomic bomb. And we all know from your New Mexico history that was developed right here in New Mexico in Los Alamos, and then tested right here around Alamogordo at the Trinity testing site. Okay, so you're to go through all those documents. Okay, and then there are these themes. All right, so in your paper, I want you to incorporate these themes. Okay, so the first one is potential Soviet expansion into Asia. All right, so in other words, the Soviet Union had kind of dreams of expanding into Asia because the end of the war would mean a vacuum of power. Okay, so how would the use of the bomb affect that? Number two is a nuclear arms race. Other countries wanted to get in on this and wanted to develop their own nuclear weapons, and that's primarily the Soviets wanted to do that. And then the third theme is high casualties. Okay, so a nuclear weapon causes many, many more casualties than conventional warfare. So what should President Truman think about that? How should he incorporate that theme into his decision as to whether or not to use the atomic bomb against Japan? And then this is the website, okay, that gives you some additional information. All right, let me just go back here. So here are your instructions for the paper. Okay, so read through all of this, and this tells you what you're supposed to do. And then your specific instructions for the paper for the content are on the next page. Okay, so read through all of this very carefully. You're going to be providing President Truman, if you're going to pretend you're an advisor, and you're going to provide him with an analysis of the pros and cons of using the atomic bomb to end the war against Japan. Okay, and you're going to address those three themes in your paper. Okay, so this isn't meant to be a very long paper. Only 2 to 3 pages in length, double spaced. Okay, the other thing is in format. All right, so I do require that you use MLA format. All right, so read through this. This is all very helpful. It tells you how to use signal phrases. Okay, so that whenever you use information from a source, you say according to, as stated by, and I gave you some specific instructions, and you need to include a bibliography as well as in-text citations, and those are citations that are within the body of your essay. Okay, so that's extremely important. All right, so read through all of those instructions, and then of course you submit it in the assignment, which should be coming up. Yep, there it is. Okay, and there's the rubric. So read through the rubric before you, well, even before you start your paper. Read this rubric so you know what it is that you're going to be graded on. Okay, so, and again, your paper is going to be due, excuse me, I'm just grabbing something here. April 7th. Okay? Now, about using MLA. If you've taken English 111, maybe you have this book. Okay, it's called a Pocket Style Manual. It comes in really handy because it has MLA and everything you need to know about citing, doing in-text citations, and doing a bibliography in MLA style. So I really encourage you to use this. As there's also resources on the web as well. The Purdue OWL is very good also. But you have to do that, okay? If you don't include those in-text citations and a bibliography, you're going to lose points on your paper, and technically that's considered plagiarism if you don't appropriately give credit to the sources of information in your paper, okay? All right, so this has been a long announcement. I better sign off now. If you have questions, I have new office hours. They're all in Zoom. So if you go to our home page, let me just show you. If you go to our home page, you're going to see the links to my office hours. Okay, so I'm in my office, my Zoom office, Tuesdays and Thursdays, 2:30 to 3:30. And then Fridays from 10 to 12. So during that time, let's say it's Tuesday at 2:30 and you want to talk to me, you just simply click on this link and that's going to take you to Zoom and you just open it up. Oh, you know what? Let me just stop that because we don't need that. But anyway, that will, that will take you, this is Zoom now. So that's what it'll look like. All right, so let me close that. Okay. All right. So anyway, that is what is happening now. Okay, so I wish you all the best as we navigate these uncharted waters of online. I know it's not different for us, but in a way it is online learning from home, I guess, for me. And if you have any questions or you need any help with that paper, please contact me sooner than later. Okay? All right, thanks a lot, and I will see you again next time. Bye.